Well, hello, sports fans, and welcome back to another segment of Sports on the Spot. My name is Willie Charger, and today Nick James is going to be joining me, and together we're going to be breaking down week 2 of the NFL season. One thing that stood out about this weekend's games, of course, were the crazy comebacks that took place. You have the Jets coming back in the last couple of minutes and stunning the Browns at the end of the game. In Baltimore, you have the Dolphins who came back from a huge deficit in the fourth quarter and beat the Baltimore Ravens. Tua Tagovailoa had a great game, 6 touchdown passes, and now people are talking about him as being a possible MVP candidate. It's pretty early. The big crazy comeback, of course, was the other game with the Raiders and the Cardinals. The Raiders having a 20-0 lead at halftime, 23-7 going into the last quarter, and somehow they let the Cardinals stay in the game, scoring on the last play of regulation, making the 2-point conversion, and then forcing overtime where the Raiders stumbled their way through about 10 minutes, and then at the very end, fumbled the ball away, and then the Cardinal safety, I guess it was, picked it up and ran for a touchdown, beating the Raiders. I always tell people if the Chargers don't win, it's always good to see the Raiders lose. Nick, what was your big takeaway from the past weekend?
My big takeaway was the AFC West kind of getting set into stone for the start of the season. We have Chargers, Chiefs. I thought we had them. Give Herbert a lot of credit. Played with busted up ribs towards the end of that game. Some bad plays on the goal line which really determined that game. But we know the Chiefs are up ahead, Chargers right behind, and then Broncos barely getting by Houston, and then as you mentioned, the Raiders falling to 0-2. So that's really what I'm focused on. I noticed there was a handful of blowouts this weekend as well, including last night's Monday night games, which were pretty boring to watch. We ended up turning off the second game halfway.
Yeah, they were both blowouts. I was looking for something that was close, but like you, I gave up after a while. Talking about the Chargers and the Chiefs, I was telling my buddy that I thought the Chargers outplayed the Chiefs most of the game. I know the Chiefs won the game, and I give them credit for that. But on both sides of the ball, I thought the Chargers were pretty much in control. If Herbert doesn't throw that pick six and the Chargers actually do score on that drive, I think the Chargers are going to win the game because I didn't see Mahomes coming back in the last quarter. After all, the reason that the Chiefs won the game was that interception and not because of the play of the quarterback. I'd like to remind people that Herbert had 3 touchdown passes while Patrick Mahomes had 2. And the Chargers had a couple of interceptions that they just let get away. And so there was a lot of what ifs. But in the end, the Chiefs are the better team, and I take my hat off to them.
Well, I was pretty annoyed on the goal line because you see Everett trying to come out and the Chargers are trying to run tempo. And then he pretty much gave up on the play, didn't even try to tackle whoever caught that, their 6th, 7th round rookie. And then Chargers are just doing what we always do. We did it against the Raiders last week. We get ahead and then we stop doing what's working. We stop passing the ball and we try to get cute and hold the lead. And then we're playing to not lose instead of playing to win. You saw the games last night, 41-7. I forgot what the Eagles ended up getting, but they smoked the Vikings too. And they didn't stop. They didn't stop scoring. They didn't stop trying to score. And they pushed all game. And that's really, if the Chargers want any chance of getting home field advantage this season, maybe splitting with the Chiefs and somehow not ending up in the wild card. But like I said, home field, they're going to have to be aggressive. We know they can do it. I mean, Mike Williams had like 6 catches for 80-something yards in the first half and then just disappeared.
Seems like Williams always plays big in Kansas City. He's had a number of big touchdown receptions over the last 2 or 3 seasons. And it was good to see him get back and actually make a difference for the Chargers offense. But like you said, it just was not enough. I think Herbert ended up with over 370 yards. But as I told my buddy, I said, you can pass for 400 yards and lose the game. I'd rather see him, win the game rather than have to put so much on his shoulders. I'm hoping that rib injury is not too serious. They got Jacksonville coming up on Sunday, a much improved Jacksonville team, in fact, that is now 1-1. And no team can be taken lightly in the NFL. But for me, if if he's a little injured, I would sit him honestly and give Chase Daniel a chance. I think the Chargers defense might be enough to get past Jacksonville this weekend. What do you think, Nick?
Jacksonville just shut out the Colts, and you have a lot of notorious bad teams that are 1-1 now, like Jacksonville, like the Lions, like the Browns, like the Jets. You know what I mean? I mean, the Browns maybe not so much lately, but historically, some of these bad teams, the Giants are 2-0. Like, you can't really count anybody out, and we can't take any weeks for granted.
You're right. It seems like there have been some shift at the top lately, especially in the AFC East, with the Dolphins surprising a lot of people with their start, and some of the other perennial contenders at 1-1 or 0-2. Look at the Bengals; they were in the Super Bowl last year, and they go and lose to the Dakless Cowboys, led by Cooper Rush on a field goal at the last. One of the last plays of the game. So there's some other teams that already are encountering some problems. Joe Burrow doesn't look like the Joe Burrow of last year. I think that appendectomy operation kind of set him back a little bit.
Yeah, and just interesting enough, I think there were only 4 teams that were 2-0 at this point. And I remember in seasons past, you get a couple teams that get to 3, 4, 5-0, and it looks like it's the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Giants, and I'm not sure the Bucks. And I think that's it.
Yeah, I think the Bucks, because some of the other teams that people were talking about as having turnaround seasons, I still have doubts about. Look at Denver; they were lucky to win that game the other night. It was their home opener against Houston, the Texans of all teams, and the Broncos really struggled on offense. I don't think they scored a touchdown until late in the third quarter. So it's not like Russell Wilson.
9-6 for a while.
Yeah, it was a very close game, low scoring game. And I'm not sure that Russell Wilson is going to be the big factor for the Broncos that people made him out to be when the trade was made. Well, again, it's early, but he hasn't shown me very much at this point. Right now, it's still Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert at the top. I feel sorry for Derek Carr. I don't know what's going on with him.
He's got Devontae. I mean, he's got Devontae, Waller, Renfro. He's got everything around him, so he has no excuses.
And he has a new coach. He has a new coach in Josh McDaniels, who is doing just like he did in his previous stint with the Raiders, losing games. So we'll see what happens in Las Vegas the next few games. What do you see coming up over the next few days, Nick, as far as the NFL season goes?
I'm just interesting to see if some of these teams can really start showing dominance again. So many 1-1 teams. I hope the Chargers can, beat Jacksonville by at least 10 points. Just get a little bit of parity there, and then battle for the AFC North. Who would have thought the Browns and the Steelers out of the teams in that division would be going for first? Granted, it is the Thursday night game, and the Ravens could still win Sunday and tie that. But I mean, with like you said, the Bengals coming 0-2 and the Ravens' big blunder on Sunday, that's the quick one I'm looking forward to.
Lamar Jackson had a great game at quarterback for the Ravens. I wouldn't blame him for that loss. I think that it was the defense, surprisingly, of Baltimore that really let them down in that fourth quarter. Tua really had a great game, and he knew how to extend the plays and find his open receivers. Tyreek Hill had a big game, and some of the other guys like Waddle, he also had a big game for the Dolphins. So I see a change at the top there in the NFC East. I've never been a Dolphin fan, but it's good to see new teams coming up into the playoff picture. It's early in the season, I know, and we can't really make too many predictions about what's going to happen in the future, but I'm optimistic that we're going to get Herbert back this weekend. Hopefully Keenan Allen can get back on the field, and the Chargers will get back to their winning ways. Any final comments you want to make on the NFL season, Nick?
I'm just devastated. My quarterback sleeper, Trey Lance, is out for the season. I'm going to have to be looking at waiver wires pretty hard this week for a couple leagues. So interesting to see who stands out and, looking at Tua, looking at Carson Wentz, somehow he's doing well. So just we'll see how the waiver turn tonight goes.
I think the 49ers are privately happy. Not happy that he broke his ankle, but happy that we got Jimmy G back in the lineup without having to admit they made a big mistake in drafting Trey Lance in the first place. I don't like, it's not that I don't like the guy. I think he has a great future, but I think the 49ers made a mistake investing so much in Trey Lance and just basically putting Jimmy G on the side. But now a lot of 49ers fans I've talked to are really happy that Jimmy G is back playing quarterback for them. So we'll see what happens there in San Francisco. Well, that's going to be it for today's show. We went all over the blog. I just wanted to remind people, if you have an opportunity to comment and like, subscribe to the show. If you have any questions to ask us, any sports questions, you can send them to the Sports on the Spot show at gmail.com, and we will try to get to them as soon as we can. That's going to be it for today's show. I want to thank Nick for his insights, and we'll see everybody next time. Talk to you later.
Unbelievable.